Erin, Fulk. How are you doing?
It's been a minute since we've been on here.
Ooh, you know what? I wanted to match the background of the orange that you've created, so
I
I
hate it.
changed my whole office for you.
I hate it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm tan a little bit, so maybe that. But no, I'm at Craft and Sage Wealth today in the downtown Speakeasy. They own the building, so I'm just here with them, and I feel a little bit wiser with all these smart financial people around me.
Tell them I'm going to be stopping by with a ring light for their office.
Oh yeah, they're actually they share an office with a general contractor. They're building a rooftop here, and you've been to the Speakeasy many times, but they're going to have a rooftop. So if you and I bang cigarettes, we could bang a heater upstairs, but we don't. So
what are you talking about? We haven't been on here for a minute. What's been the most exciting thing that's happened to you in the past?
You've never banged a cigarette on a rooftop bar?
No, and I don't want to talk about that. It's so weird. I will tell you. Do you want to hear?
Yeah.
One 3-second interesting cigarette story that you won't even
see? Look at that. Now we're talking.
I never smoked cigarettes because I'm smarter than a lot of other people. But in the early 2000s, a lot of my friends did. And so when you would go to bars, you would like walk outside with everyone. And I always went outside with everyone because what are you going to do? Stand inside by yourself? That's weird.
Yeah.
And so we're at this bar and we started to go outside, and they're like, if you go out, you can't come back in for probably an hour. I'm like, that's weird. And it was a bar that just happened to have like shades back in the day. This was in Dallas. And I was like, what? They're like, the guy's like, you don't want to go out, I promise. And my friends were like, okay. So we just stayed inside, and guess what happened?
What?
Prince came out and did 2 songs.
Whoa.
And for years I was like, that's like such like a weird memory because you were drinking and all sorts of stuff. And for years I was like, that was so weird. I told my friends, I'm like, did that really happen? They're like, yeah.
So you didn't get to see Prince?
We got to see Prince. Yeah, we were inside. But guess what? When he died, people started telling those stories. And I was like, oh, okay. It definitely wasn't a made up memory. Like, it was just one of those things that you're like, did that really happen to me? It was insane.
I was in Manhattan, Kansas, and it was called Fake St. Patrick's Day, which was really big. And there's a big long line to go to Kites, which serves hot dogs. My buddy was there. Some guy, he waited in line for 30 minutes. After he got out of the line, he had 2 hot dogs. One guy came up to him and took one of his hot dogs, took a bite of the other one, gave it back to him, and said with a full mouth, he said, "No one's going to believe you." And he walked away.
Who was it?
Bill Murray. And Bill Murray's brother went to the golf course management school in Manhattan. So, and he was there seen by other people. So, you know what? The cigarette story turned into our small talk to talk about Bestway International and Navardi Construction. So there we go.
Can I tell you something? The only time I've ever been to Kites, I went with an NFL player. I think Kites is where people go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? That's the only time I've ever been to Manhattan. Okay, so nothing exciting happened to you over the past couple of weeks? People like to keep up with you. Literally, one of our guests said, who doesn't know Scott? Everybody likes to keep up with you. So did anything exciting happen to you over the past few weeks?
Just kids are 6 and 8 years old. Nothing cool, we took our children to the mall because our children don't know what malls are. And then we took our wives to Abercrombie and Hollister, and we put on the cologne. They couldn't handle it. It was so hot. It was so hot.
Memories.
It was so hot. To the young guys out there, if you want millennial women all over you, get a little Abercrombie or Hollister cologne. Now, Erin, did anything happen to you over?
If you want to watch a good documentary, watch the Abercrombie documentary.
I saw it.
Yeah, I opened up a New York office.
There we go. I thought everyone knew because they followed you on social media. I knew you opened a social media.
No, we just haven't talked about it. So yeah, I opened up a New York office. So I'm spending a lot of time there, which is great because my kid lives there. So
now, do you have to go to Legal Growth Partners or Lily and James to find out the address of your New York office?
Legal Growth Partners. It's on the website. Turns out, this is just a fun fact. If anybody here calls on attorneys, 60% of all U.S. attorneys live in New York City. 60%. So, but they will only talk to you if you have a New York office. So it was a necessity, but I thought that was an interesting fact. Bestway International, speaking of companies doing big things, Bestway International is doing huge stuff. I love when it's the Tuesday before Cargo Cafe. Tomorrow is Cargo Cafe. If you have anything to do with shipping anything ever, You need to be watching this. We're on top of all of the law changes and everything that's going on. So just go over to the Bestway International LinkedIn page or YouTube page, and you can watch Cargo Cafe tomorrow at 11.
I love it. We're ready to rock.
All right. We've got 2 guests today doing really cool things, both of them. So I'm going to bring them in with this. Our first guest is Sherrie. Hi, Sherrie.
Hello, hello.
You threw me off with your name down here. Next time, put your name so I don't get I was like, I know her name, but now I'm confused because it's her company name. Okay, and our second guest is Barry. Hello. All right, for everybody that's watching, please let us know. Are you watching Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube? And start asking questions over here. Let us know if you're watching live or replay. We are paying attention to how many people watch that replay. So let's just jump into it. Sherrie, who are you? What do you do? And how did you get to Kansas City?
My name is Sherrie Ortiz. I am a Kansas City tour guide. I have been a lifelong born here, raised here in Kansas City type thing. And what else do you want to know? I do Kansas City tours, walking and bus tours for conferences, conventions, team groups, outings, family, you name it, I do it. And then personally, I've been married for 34 years. I have 2 kids and 1 grandbaby.
Well, that is amazing, but I think that you went too fast. We've met years before, but I haven't seen you in years. And randomly yesterday, I told you you showed up in my newsfeed, and I became obsessed. And then today, got on here, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's on the show. Can you please explain to people what a Kansas City walking tour is, and why this is an awesome thing to do with the people you know or the people that are coming in town?
So a lot of it is I offer many different themes of tours: the gangsters, ghost and true crime, murals, garden and art, which is around the Kaufman Memorial Garden, Nelson, things like that, with all the Kansas City history mixed up in it. I do a mural tour, plaza area, a streetcar tour where we go from Union Station to the city market and learn all about the things in Kansas City in between. It's a lot of history. It's a lot of the mixed up web of things and who's connected to what and how it all ties together. And the walking tour aspect really puts it together with like actually being in that physical location and say, yes, that was Pendergast's office. Yes, this is where this happened. Yes, this is where this happened. And most people go away with a list of like 10 or more things that they need to go explore by the time we get done with the tour. Because it's things you just didn't know about Kansas City.
Okay, how long have you been doing this?
5 years in full, 2019. Had a few changes in there with COVID, but yeah.
And then what's your game plan during the World Cup? Because I feel like it's going to be busy for you.
Because we don't really know what we don't know and there's no way to predict it, I am just going to throw a whole bunch of dates out on the calendar and see what the first week brings and then adjust accordingly. Because it's really hard to say how busy are the streets and things like that.
Are you the only person in Kansas City doing this?
There's actually about 5 of us.
Oh, well, yours is the one showing up, so good.
Well, good.
Sky is
What
a
are your
question.
top three money makers?
Gangsters, murals, and the streetcar tour.
I want to go on the gangsters one.
The gangster tour is a lot of fun.
What do you do during the winter months?
I don't. I mean, I do have other conference tours and military groups that come in and do tours, and I'll get the occasional conference or holiday light tours, things like that. But overall, I go get a part-time job for the winter.
I love that. Well, maybe you'll be busy enough this year. You can just take the winter off.
Sure. I would say we've had a lot of.
Say that again. My husband retires in 2 months, so I just might take the winter off with him.
I like that. Scott, your Wi-Fi is delaying. I knew this was going to happen.
I know. I'll make sure I'm close all the time. Sherrie, what I was going to say is we've had a lot of guests. You gave the most concise answers ever, which was awesome.
Ah, well, thanks. I do talk too fast, though, so I'll try to slow that down.
No, I'm fascinated by it. Expect to see my name here very soon. All right, Barry, who are you? What do you do? How do you get to Kansas City?
Well, thanks for having me. Really glad to be here, you guys. Who am I? I came here. I'm born and raised Minnesotan, northern Minnesota. And so I moved here 18 years ago. So I live in Olathe now. And my youngest just graduated from Blue Valley Southwest last Friday. So I am officially done now with the whole school experience for high school and stuff. So excited about that for him and what's going on with that. Got a little company called VisiPay, and VisiPay is a payment rail for the construction industry. And it's a startup for me, and I'm getting going with that. Otherwise, previously, I've been in the financial services industry for over 30 years. I started in, 1991 as a currency trader, and have been making my way through the financial services industry and insurance industry, banking, ever since, until now, when I've kind of gotten that entrepreneur bug and decided to chuck it all and go start a business.
So Barry, can you tell us a little bit more about your journey and your career and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've kind of had a parallel career throughout. So currency trading, banking, mutual funds, ETFs, insurance, traditional finance, for all of this time. Parallel along the way, starting back in 2012, I started getting involved with blockchain technology. That's an old miner sitting behind me here. And so I've been following along that, traditional finance and decentralized finance parallel all the way through now since 2012. And that's been fascinating because it's two very different worlds, right? And they're trying to converge now, and it's going sort of okay, right? But it's a really interesting conversation on both sides. And that's where my little company came from, because we're kind of putting those two things together.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your little company, as you just called it?
Well, thank you. So VisiPay it's a payment rail for the construction industry. What happens is, if you're a subcontractor, you're waiting 96 days on average after invoice to get paid. That's awful. Dirty little secret of the American economy is that's being carried on the shoulders of the small business owner. So we want to streamline that payment process. So we're automating it with smart contracts. And then on the other side of that is we're having the owners hold that money in escrow, so that they can, for a subcontractor, they can see the money is there. If I'm the plumber, I know my money is there before I mobilize my team, before I mobilize my equipment, before I order supplies. And then there's retainage, change orders, and things all along the way. And then when time is done, say, hey, check me out. I'm done, pay me. And then they look, the owner has full control, takes a look. Okay, I agree, paid right now. And they can put gas in their truck on the way home from the job. And then that also helps the banks, because we're doing automated lien releases while we're at it. So the project moves along nice and quick.
Wait, what all did you do much in construction before?
Yeah.
I really, so I was, at one point in my life, I was a drywall guy. I'm a taper. So I've got stilts and all all that gear from being a taper. But my partner in this project, Dave Brucker, he owns an engineering firm. He owns Hometown Pools, Hometown Lawn. And so he lives and breathes this. He's been doing this for 30 years. So he was like, this is a problem. How come we can't get this to work? I'm like, well, with this new technology, it could. And so here we are.
I like it from the owner's side. I had given someone a deposit for a pool that took off with it once. So I like it from that side as well. I want to say this one thing, just because I think it's really interesting for our audience, and then it'll be your turn, Scott. I'm also letting this catch up on your back Wi-Fi. But you said you had the stilts and stuff. Can you tell our audience how actually tall you are so they can imagine this on stilts?
Thanks. I'm 6 feet 8 inches tall. And so when I would work on stilts, in order to do the ceilings, I can do 8-foot ceilings from the floor just for my shoes, because I'm that tall. So I had to order a custom set of stubby stilts. So I'd be just as tall as my coworkers working ceilings. So I've got these stubby stilts that I still wear for Halloween and things.
That's hilarious. All right, real quick, let me pull these up. Lacey said, connected with you, Barry. She thinks she has intros for you. And
hello. Hi, Lacey.
For her clients. Awesome, Lacey. That's what this show is for. All right, Scott, hopefully your Wi-Fi is going to work. You're up.
It'll work. Lacey, you're great. Sherrie, what was the most pivotal point in your career?
I think it would have to be COVID, just because it messed up everything. I had like all the connections going, and I just launched, and it was all going well. And then, of course, the whole industry and tourism shut down. So I went and got a part-time job at an auction company, and we would go catalog people's homes, farms, barns, things like that. I know more about antiques and power tools and farm equipment than I ever thought I needed to know. Absolutely loved that job. And so we kind of took some time off and then came back. My original plan was to do senior bus tours, but they were the last ones coming out of COVID. So I've switched over and I do mostly conferences, tours, military reunions, and family type events.
Wow.
Did you ever do anything with buses? Because I mean, that's a very interesting piece versus the walking, right? That feels like a lot more insurance, a lot more expenditure. So
I'll still do the buses. It just depends. Like last week, I just had a garden group. They were master gardeners from all across the Midwest, and they came to Kansas City, and I took them on a 2-day tour. We saw some private gardens. We went shopping at the Family Tree Nursery. We did a city tour and just stopped at different gardens all along the way, and they had a blast.
Okay, so I go to a lot of big cities all the time. I didn't start your 3 minutes, so let's pretend we did. Because I'm so fascinated by this.
Yeah.
I go to big cities all the time, and in cities like New York, Miami, those types, right? There's a lot of different tours. My question is, did you go do some of those when you were putting this all together? And
a little bit,
some of your favorites, like what cities do you think do it best?
Chicago was a good one. I've done a couple. I love haunted, spooky things, so I did a couple haunted tours, and so yeah, I went out and took a few tours just to kind of see what other people were doing.
Amazing.
When you went around with other people doing the tour, did you take notes in terms of adding how they presented to how you present?
No, we each have our own style. I mean, it's really just finding the information and the subject matter that gets you excited for what you do. I can go watch a military history tour and just be bored out of my head, but I like doing the other things. So it's finding that thing that you like to do.
Okay, I have one last question, and then I'm going to shut up about the tours. I just really am fascinated. You know the pink tea tours or whatever, the big bus ones that are in all the big cities? They're a franchise. Do you ever imagine like that you'd be able to franchise some of your tours?
I have considered it. It just kind of depends on how it grows.
Cool. Okay, I'm done.
No, I do on this topic all day. And then Aaron, you do a lot of speaking. So I'm always curious when presenters or speakers, when they hear others, I didn't know if they take a little bit of a nugget for everyone. But Barry, more importantly, you look very tan, so you haven't been doing drywall too much. You've been outside. What was the most pivotal point in your career?
Pivotal point in my career, I would say it was recently when I decided to sort of take the leap from corporate world to Berryville, is what I call it, right? Just living and working out of my office here with Philip, the party penguin. We worked together, and and just really doing that on my own, taking that leap. That was amazingly pivotal. In my prior career in the financial services industry, I spent a lot of time helping business owners and their families prepare to sell their business. So toward the end of the business and finding that monetization of it. And now I'm out starting my own. So that big switch. But I will also say there was one other big pivotal point for me, and it's regards to my hobby of sailing. I was hired a number of years ago, pre-COVID, to fly to Honduras, bought a one-way ticket to Honduras, and fix up this crappy old beat-up sailboat, put it in the water, and sail back to America and deliver it back. And the reason why that was so kind of a pivotal point for me was because that was when I decided I needed to have some guts, right? So buying one-way ticket to Honduras, I don't exactly blend in down there. Big, tall, white guy, right? I don't blend. And I don't speak the language. And I had to just go fix this crappy boat up and sail it back to America.
What?
And when you take this boat that you fixed up and you put it into the water, it doesn't work. So you got to pull it back out because it's starting to sink. So you fix it, put it back in again. And then you cast off those dock lines and head to open water because you're going to go 800 miles to sea. That makes you ask some life questions, right? You start wondering, well, how smart am I? And you have a lot of time to reflect. So that was a major pivotal point for me. And so when I was able to land in America after, almost died, I almost sunk the thing, whatever. But I was able to find that I could actually do that daunting thing. And that was massively impactful to me as a human.
Okay, how old were you when you were doing all this?
It was about 20 years ago.
So you had kids already?
Oh, yeah.
And you were just like, that seems like such a leap when you're like, I'm lucky I got back to America.
It was. We had some real bad weather, got knocked around. The boat started coming apart. We lost our electronics. We were quote unquote lost at sea. Not actually, because I knew where I was, but nobody else did. And so, yeah, my wife and kids were a little concerned when I missed my arrival date and they couldn't reach us. but we made it, and it was.
Are any of your kids as adventurous as you were?
I think that they're pretty adventurous. None of them have taken off across open ocean in a rickety boat yet, but I think a couple of them will at some point in their life.
Do you think that you will be more concerned for their well-being than you were for yours?
Oh, for sure. Because I was dumb enough to take my own, like you always worry about your kids, right? More than you worry about yourself, and for sure.
And then they're like, but you did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
All right. So Sherrie, somebody has phone ringing. I don't know what's going on today. Between Scott's internet, I don't know what's up. Sherrie, how are your 2026 goals going, and how can the Kansas City community help you?
2026 goals are going okay, in part because I'm trying to get locals to come out and do tours, and everybody is like worried about the World Cup. It's like the World Cup is not here yet. Come and take a tour. So getting people to realize that the World Cup is really only mid-June to mid-July, and there's plenty of other time for tours. That's a big part of it. What was the second part of that question?
How can the Kansas City community help you get to your goals this year?
It's all about connections. Businesses that take their teams out for activities and events, something new and exciting to do. I do a lot of curating of the tours. So if there's a special interest group or a thing that they want to go do, I take care of all those logistics and put it all together. And then, of course, just sending me messages with questions on, what I can do. There's a wide variety of what I can offer, more than what I can even really put on the website. So I like it when people call me up and say, I have a crazy idea. I'm like, yes, let's go. I can do that.
Who are the best types of referral partners for you to refer these groups?
Conference centers, hotels, large businesses that have groups come into Kansas City. Real estate agents use it as a gift for your clients. If you just had somebody move into Kansas City, what better gift would there be than to offer a walking tour that they can just sign up for after they're settled in? Talk about, being able to fall in love with Kansas City. That would be a cool way to do it.
Did you just, were you just a vendor at that real estate thing that was last month? Like the local real estate conference?
No, I didn't go to that one.
Someone sent it to me. I'll send it to you. It was
okay.
I was like, this is cheap. I was like the day before, but what I thought that'd be a good place. Okay, so what is the best way to reach out to you or intro someone to you to connect with you?
Mostly the email, justonedaytours@gmail.com.
You mentioned there's 4 other people that do what you do. Do you collaborate a lot and share leads with each other? Because when someone's done, maybe I feel like the escape room friends that Aaron and I know, they like to do it over and over again. A client of yours is also a client of your people that do what you do?
There's probably some crossover in there, yeah. We don't necessarily collaborate. We more like back up and support each other. So we get together maybe twice a year and talk about business, about what they're working on, what I need help with, what they might need help with, and, cover tours if somebody's ill, that kind of thing.
That's really cool.
It's more about, not competition, but, all ships rise kind of thing.
Is this the correct email?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, expect to see my name and your Instagram. That's what I found.
Absolutely.
All righty. All right, Barry, how are your 2026 goals going, and how can the Kansas City community help you get there?
So the goals are going great. We have launched our MVP, and we are getting into beta testing, and we're hoping to go live here this summer. So we are right on the verge, or we're kind of birthing the baby right now, right? And so it's really, really cool. One of the things is I encourage everyone to do the Fan Fest thing. Check out, get the tour, but stop. There's fan tour stops along the way. One of the fan tour stops on the way is the KU Innovation District's presentation, and it's a Fan Fest stop, and it highlights some local Kansas City businesses. VisiPay happens to be one of those that's highlighted, and it's at the Keystone Collab place. I think it's on 18th Street. Yeah. And definitely check that out. Come say hello, right? I'm going to be working that space during World Cup and promoting VisiPay. And so if you're a Kansas Cityan, get out, go see the games, but swing by and say hi.
who are the best people? Like, I know Lacey just said she was going to try to connect you with some people. Who are the best people for you to connect with right now?
So there's two groups that are really great for me right now. One is people in banks who make decisions about payment rails, because we plug right into existing banking software. So it's fairly easy for a bank to feature us. So if you are a person who works at a bank and makes those decisions about, what payment rails you use, I'd love to talk with you. Secondly, if you're a contractor, large, small, whatever, you could be, J.E. Dunn, and you could be Burns and Mac, or you could be, Joe's Happy House of Building Things, whatever that is. I'd love to talk with you as well, because you can choose to use VisiPay on your own as well, and that attracts the best subcontractors, reduces average cost by 14% of your project, and gives you automated lien releases so things go faster.
What is the best way to get a hold of you?
Great question. So check out VisiPay.io. That's VISI, VisiPay.io. At VisiPay.io, you'll find my email address. You'll find demonstration videos, a way to sign up for more information. That's really our spot.
And then last question, what are you going to do now that you're an empty nester?
I am going to sail more. I'm going to get another one of these dumb trips and go see if I can't sink myself somewhere out far away.
That's wild. Have you ever heard of Association for Capital Growth, ACG?
Yes. I've been to a few of their presentations. They've been excellent, and I intend on becoming a member.
Yeah. So for those in the audience, if you ever want to meet every banker in town and private equity firm, ACG, Association for Capital Growth.
Agreed. Great place. A lot of great people there. I absolutely cannot wait to go to the next one.
I thought it was going to be a sailing club the way you put it into the question. I don't know if you just did that or if it's your internet.
See, no, Erin's a professional. This is like her 11th podcast, so she understands what the audience wants. I have no idea. She's stuck with me.
It's literally, I think, my 9th podcast of the week, and we're on Tuesday. Fun fact, it's way easier to get sales meetings if you call them podcasts on a company. So if anyone wants to know about that, my company does it. All right.
Philip and I will work that out.
How did you say is the best way to get a hold of you?
VisiPay.io.
Let me put that
VISIPAY.io.
Scott threw me off with his untimely question, and it just
just off topic. He just,
completely unprofessional. Yeah.
They just go to the website. And then
go to the website. That's it right there. Okay. And all the information's there, and my email's there. It's all the stuff.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for coming on here. You guys were incredible guests. Thank you so much, Scott, for being the best co-host ever. Thank you so much to Bestway International for sponsoring us. We will be back same time, same place. You really just got to watch the page because we're pretty busy this summer. We're trying to do 2 shows a month. If you know someone that would be a great guest, reach out to us. We'd love to have them on. We're running about 850 guests so far since the year 2020. So if you know someone that we don't know, let us know. And we will see you same time, same place. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Bye, guys.
Thank you.